Welcome to Primetime, everybody. This is episode 12, and tonight we are talking about the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, the awards ceremony from this past Sunday, because we had a show to do last week, so we did not get to talk about it. So we are dedicating an entire episode to it tonight. I'm your host, Hunter Chambers. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Chad and Kerri. How's it going, guys?
It's going great. I personally have never watched these award shows before, but I decided, hey, why not pause Black Swan that we were watching and go chat with some other horror films.
Hell yeah!
New releases.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. Kerri, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great today. I went back and rewatched the ceremony. A very fun event. I think this is the first time it's actually been shown like as a full ceremony. I think they usually do it through their magazine or their website.
That's cool.
Put out, but because Shudder was the host of it and also sponsored the event, they paid to have it put on like an actual like Oscars award ceremony for horror, which is very, very cool.
That's really, really cool. I gotta say, like I felt like it was really cool to first off see the host David Dastmalchian, because I know how big of a horror fan he is, but I love seeing him pop up in Denis Villeneuve movies and Suicide Squad and stuff like that. He's great. I love him. But I also felt like the ceremony itself was like really, really, really cheesy. But I think that works because a lot of horror is also very cheesy and silly. So
yeah, I will say I love the background setting of where they showed like David in like the like old theater rental place or rental store with all the horror
box sets,
boxes behind him, and you get to see like different Easter eggs, like all 4 Scream movies are somehow on VHS. I love that.
And he's like, I don't know what to select. There's so many choices here. And then he's like, I guess I'll have to watch them all. That's how it feels. There's so many choices. Like even a lot of the movies that were nominated, I'm like, I love horror, but like there's so many movies that aren't horror that I watch all the time that I'm like, there's a lot that were nominated that I haven't seen. But I'm excited that they got highlighted in this award ceremony. So now we can go, all right, this is like the best of the best in this specific category. Let me take those movies and actually watch them soon. So I'm glad a lot of maybe lesser known ones are getting their due so they can be seen more.
Exactly. Kerri, thoughts on the ceremony as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. It was really great to have so many guest appearances. I think we're going to go into this a little bit later. And then, for so many of the actors and directors and special effects folks and everything to either come in person and accept their award or take the time to do like a little video thank you. I know it makes you feel like these directors know that their movies mean a lot to the fans.
Yeah, and what's cool is and you could tell that the people who were nominated, especially like the directors and the actors, you could tell they were huge fans of Fangoria growing up because they had the magazines, especially someone like James Wan and Edgar Wright when he won. He was so excited to get this award because it is fan voted. It's not like voted on by a committee or anything, so fans have to go and vote for a particular movie that they want to win. So the fact that they're more excited to get this than say a regular award shows how much, one, they love horror, but 2, how much they appreciate their fan base for going out and voting for stuff like this.
Absolutely.
All right, so if you guys are ready, we can actually get into the actual first award of the night, which is best score. And I love this. It was the first presenter was Harry Manfredini, of course, famous composer of Friday the 13th series.
Almost all of them,
all of them. And it's so great that they got him to come in and do best score. So the nominees for best score are so you have Come True, which is Electric Youth and Pilot Priest, John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies for Halloween Kills, Ben Lovett for The Night House, Clint Mansell for In the Earth, and Tom Schneider and C.J. Johnson for Hurt. And the winner of Best Score was John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies for Halloween Kills. Again, me personally, I actually enjoyed Halloween Kills. I know a lot of people didn't, but the fact that even movies like Halloween Kills that are divisive are getting awards shows that this is just it's for everybody, not just for the movies that everyone loves. So, iconic score as always from John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies for Halloween Kills. So, guys, thoughts on this award? And
it's actually pretty interesting because this is one where I was like, all right, a majority of these that were nominated I actually haven't seen. I did see The Night House and I did see Halloween Kills.
Me too.
But I think it's great that you can take a movie like Halloween Kills that not a ton of people thought was great. Halloween 2018, a lot of people actually thought was really good. But Halloween Kills felt a little bit like a step down for a lot of people, even though a lot of people enjoyed aspects of the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like especially, the Halloween scores are generally always very fantastic, especially the original. And I feel like, the Halloween Kills is just a callback to the original with the score and the music, with John Carpenter and his son, helping out there. So it definitely a very great win. I mean, Halloween just usually always delivers on the score for sure.
Kerri?
Yeah, I definitely agree. This one, I think regardless of how you felt about the movie itself, a score and really, I think almost any score I've heard by John Carpenter is just a hit to me. I'm always going to be jamming out to that. So, even though I haven't seen all of the movies here, just based on what I have seen, I would have picked this one to win as well.
If you ever get a chance around Halloween time, or really whenever, if you're just cruising around at night or whatever, just pop on the original Halloween John Carpenter score, or maybe the Halloween Kills, and it just turns everything creepy. It's scary as hell.
I'm about to do that one day. That sounds so fun.
Do it.
We did that. We went through during COVID. There was haunted hayride in your own car because COVID.
Yeah.
And so they had their own set music, but it was coming in really fuzzy. So we just switched it over to Halloween, and it was awesome.
Yes, nice. All right, so Kerri, move on to our next presenter and our next award.
Okay.
Supporting.
Sorry, it's hard because I don't know if that's not what I wanted. I need to know who it's. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Because I can't view the document and the list at the same time.
All right. So the two presenters are Tiffany Shepis and Joe Lo Teglo. There we go.
Right. From Brooklyn.
For best supporting performance.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so the nominees here were Luke David Blum in Son, Jennifer Ailey in St. Maud, Larry Fessenden in Jacob's Wife, Vincent Linden in Titan, Diana Rigg in Last Night in Soho, Bill Sage in Wrong Turn, Millicent Simmons in A Quiet Place Part 2, Jeremy T. Thomas in Antlers, and Suzanne Voss in Dementia Part 2. And sorry for all the mispronunciations I'm going to do.
A lot of as well. Who was the winner, Kerri?
Oh, and the winner was Millicent Simmons in A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah. Her speech was amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, she was so giddy and excited, and even through the subtext, you could tell how much that meant to her for her to win that award.
Yeah, it is interesting because I've seen a few of these, and so I was really excited. If Vincent Linden, Millicent Simmons, or Diana Rigg or Jennifer Ailey for St. Maud too those ones I've seen, and I actually like all those performances. I was really pulling for Diana Rigg in this because I think she's excellent in Last Night So. She's one of the
She's
best
so
parts of the
good.
movie. But I was not mad to see Millicent Simmons win this because I adored A Quiet Place Part 2. I thought it was just so great, and she's great in both of those movies.
Mhm.
Great representation for, like, the deaf community, and
Yes.
her coming in, being able to sign her speech was like really cool. It's kind of like a Troy Kotzer moment a little bit, just less grand, I guess, because it's just on Shudder and it's not like national television or anything like that. But still really cool to see. She praised John Krasinski,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was a really great moment.
Kerri?
Yeah, I think that was definitely a well-deserved award for her. She was definitely, out of these, my favorite performance. I think she just, to both A Quiet Place Part 1 and Part 2, she brought so much heart and emotion to that performance. She really is, like, I think, going to be an actor to continue to watch out for.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. I don't know why I keep.
I can see you. I can hear you now.
But yeah, definitely a great win. Like, well deserved. I love her character in A Quiet Place. In A Quiet Place Part 2. And the fact that she, they actually cast a deaf actress to play a role, a character of a deaf girl who really is the savior of these movies, because she's the one who, like, doesn't see her disability as a bad thing. They actually use it as, it's a good thing, because she's able to, enhance the experience of being like, well, the creatures do this and this and this, and they actually make her a smart character, which I love. That it's not just someone with a disability, which I absolutely love that they wrote that into her character. But also, she does a really good job of, like, portraying, all different types of emotions in these movies, going from happy and sad to, scared, to being very strong at the very end of the movie. So really a huge range of, emotions for someone who does have a disability, which I love.
Yeah, a lot of physical acting and facial expressions and stuff like that. Yeah, she's fantastic in those. She carries the movie.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on to the next award with Chad.
All right. So with this one, we have best first feature. So it's like, I guess someone's debut.
Yeah.
And so we have, it was the presenters were Peaches Christ, Michael Verratti.
Verratti. There we go.
I'm worse than Kerri pronouncing names. So yeah. So we had, for the nominees, we had Censor, My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To, Saint Maud, The Stylist, and The Vigil. And the winner was the only one of the list that we've actually seen, was Saint Maud.
I've never seen it. I still gotta watch it. It's on Prime right now.
Yeah, Saint Maud. That was a pretty great win there, I think, because we were pretty impressed with how this movie plays out. It's kind of a crazy movie. It's got a pretty crazy ending, builds up to it, and films that build up to like an epic conclusion is like just really, really great. It reminds me of a little bit of like Hereditary, stuff like that. Even Midsommar, just like epic conclusions where you're like, oh my God, okay. But yeah, so that's kind of like how that movie will make you feel. But yeah, I that's the one I rooted for. I guess that's the other one a lot of other people saw too. But I can't wait to check out the other nominees, the runner-ups.
Exactly. Kerri, thoughts on Saint Maud?
Yeah, Shad said this was the only one we had watched, but I definitely enjoyed it. It's probably not my favorite. It's an A24 film. Probably not my favorite A24 horror film, but I thought it was definitely a really, solid one. It was freaky. It was metaphorical. There was a lot of religious fervor.
Right.
So yeah, it was one I did really enjoy it, and I do think it, deserved this award.
Yeah.
And again, I can't really say anything because I've never seen any of these movies, but that just gives me more horror movies to watch.
Absolutely. Never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. All right, so I will move on to the next one, which is Best Creature Effects, and that was presented by Jim Cummings. which was very interesting to see him, especially since I saw him in Halloween Kills, and that kind of ties it all back around to the first award right there.
Were you able to see The Wolf of Snow Hollow that he directed and starred in?
No, I need to watch that.
That's a really good movie, and it's really funny too. I like that movie a lot.
I'll definitely have to see that one. All right, so the nominees for Best Creature Effects: Barry Gower for The Green Knight, Robert Kurtzman for Black Friday, Legacy Effects and Shane Mahan for Antlers, Maggie Effect and Gaslight Studios VHS 94, and Master Effects and Steve. How do you say that last name?
Kostansky.
There we go. For PG Psycho Gorman. And your winner for Best Creature Effects is Master FX and Steve. Go ahead and say it because I don't want to fuck it up again.
Kostansky, I think.
Kostansky. PG Psycho Gorman. I know a lot of people have been saying that movie is really good. It's on Shudder right now. I may have to watch it very, very soon. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and from what I've seen, the effects are really, really great when it comes to like the creature design is really, really badass looking. So yeah, well deserved. Guys, on to you for that one.
It's kind of the same thing where I've heard a lot of great things about PG Psycho Gorman, and I really want to watch it because I think it's going to be like really funny and stuff like that. I don't know how scary it is, but like I just really want to check it out because it seems like it's going to be awesome. I almost bought it on Blu-ray, but now I'm glad it's streaming, so I don't have to. But very excited. But for the other ones, I've seen The Green Knight. I really want to see Black Friday. Actually, I want to see the rest of them a lot. Antlers and VHS 94, I think would be really fun to watch as well.
I actually watched Antlers. The creature effects are really good, especially with the transformation scenes. They look really like raw and intense.
Nice.
When it's happening. It's not just like like a big like transformation, but it looks painful. Like you see like the bones cracking and like. It's really, really good effects for like a low budget horror film.
Yeah, and it's the effects on Psycho Gorman must be amazing because like how it won over The Green Knight is just really interesting that people voted for that one because The Green Knight was crazy with their effects. So
yeah, well, we got a taste of the effects, creature effects, from the acceptance speech for Psycho Gorman. I think Tube Man was present to accept the award as well.
Yeah,
it looked really cool. So I'm sure that I've heard so many good things about this Psycho Gorman and the effects in it. So I'm sure it was very well deserved.
All right, Kerri, let's move on to our next award.
Yay. So this one was for Best Streaming Movie. And it was presented by Darcy Diana Prince, the male girl from The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
I love that show, man.
I know. Okay, we won't get off track, but they showed Nosferatu on Friday night, the original in the 70s. It was really fun. Okay, so the nominees for Best Streaming Premiere Movie were The Boy Behind the Door, Fear Street Part 3, 1666, Lucky, The Power, and Violation. And the winner was Fear Street Part 3, 1666.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about this one?
I love the Fear Street movies. I think they are a perfect mix of like different genres of horror in one series. So you get like your 80s slashers, your 90s slashers like Scream, and then your like medieval like 2010s witch type based horror films all in one series of movies. So I'm super excited to see Fear Street get a lot of love during this award show, especially for Best Streaming Premiere.
Yeah, that was actually the only one of the slate that I'd seen and stuff like that. But I didn't love the Fear Streets. I thought they were really well done. But what I want to do is because I watched them like as they premiered, I want to like go back and like watch all three in just one row because they like back to back to back because they all have kind of like a really good like continuous story that goes through. I feel like having to wait a little bit between them, maybe like all right, wait, what happened in the last one? So I feel like being able to watch them continuously might help my enjoyment of them. But I do think 1666 was one of the really good ones. So I was happy that it won.
Kerri, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, like Chad said, this was the only one of the slate that we had seen. This was definitely my favorite of the 3 Fear Street movies. I really enjoyed all of them. I'm really glad this is the one that they chose to nominate because I think it's pretty well deserved.
Yeah, so I loved all 3 of them, but the one that I actually love more is Fear Street 94.
I think that was my favorite too.
Just because it had that Scream vibe to it. Like it was kind of snarky, kind of funny, kind of this like
Friday the 13th too, because it was like at like camp or whatever. Yeah.
No, that's
the second one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 84.
I was thinking of the
yeah,
mind.
but
I like that one more.
I love this series because it gives you a little taste of everything. You can kind of tell someone's horror taste a little bit by which of these was their favorite. And I don't think there's a wrong answer for which one is someone's favorite because they kind of focus in on different subgenres.
Yeah, they're all great.
That might be a topic we explore one day on the podcast. Just watch all 3 of them back to back and do like a discussion of all 3 of them. That could be fun.
I'd be down.
Fun, yeah.
All right, Chad, let's move on to the next award.
Absolutely. We have Best Documentary. This was Phil Nobile Jr., Michael Gingold. That's the best I'm going to do. I apologize. Those were the presenters. And then the nominees were Dark Shadows and Beyond, the Jonathan Frid story, Mail Order Murder, Woodlands Darkened Days Bewitched, a history of folk horror. So I believe that was just 3 of them.
Yeah, because this is the first year they did this.
Gotcha. Award. And the winner was Woodlands Darkened Days Bewitched, a history of folk horror, which sounds pretty great. But I don't really watch a lot of horror documentaries, unfortunately. I love documentaries, though, so I think I might need to start. And I definitely want to check out these 3. A folk horror documentary sounds actually pretty awesome, like a kind of a lore. I don't know if people listen to that podcast, but something like that is kind of what it reminds me of, like listening to like old kind of like supernatural like horror kind of stories. Sounds like really spooky. So
exactly. Kerri?
Yeah, this was the one that won. Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched was the only one I had actually heard of before the award ceremony, and it had gotten a lot of hype. I'm really excited to watch all 3 of these, but especially this one on folk horror. And since folk horror, I think, has been having more of a moment, in the past, few years. I think it'd be a really good one to watch.
Yeah, I mean, even 1960 or 1666 feels kind of like a folk horror type of movie. So
So I'll say I've never seen any of these documentaries, but if you do want to watch a lot of like making of horror documentaries, Shudder is the place to go.
Yeah,
because they have like a 6-hour documentary on Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm. We were watching that, the Crystal Lake Memories.
Like Memories, they have Never Sleep Again.
That was amazing. I love that.
I
do watch some documentaries.
And then they have a brand new one on the making of Alien and Aliens.
Ooh, gotta check that one out.
It's called like Species, I think.
Horror noir, the black horror.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so I believe it's my turn for the next award, which is Achievement in Nonfiction, which was presented by Dr. Rebecca McKendry and Alaric Kane. And the nominees are The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, Elvira's 40th anniversary, very scary, very special, and the Bollet Brothers, Dracula. And the winner is The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. As we mentioned, I love this show. The first episode I watched was on my favorite 80s horror movie, Sleepaway Camp, where he actually had Felissa Rose as a guest. It was so fun to hear like behind the scenes story while actually watching the full movie with them. It was like, the show is really good because you get to watch horror movies, and then you get to hear like behind the scenes stories from people who are actually filming it. So it's really, really cool, guys.
Yeah, this is one that Kerri actually started to introduce me to. I don't know if she watched any of the episodes prior to us watching together, but then the very first one we watched was Mall
Shopping Mall?
Chopping
Is that the one we
Mall.
watched?
It was
Yes,
Chopping Mall. Yeah,
Mall.
the one we watched, and so now I know
It's
what that
not
movie
over.
is. And Shudder actually, just in general, with their like 31 or 61 days of horror, whatever they do, really opens the door to a lot of horror, like classic horror movies and new horror movies that a lot of people don't talk about. That we watched, and so I know a lot of like these kind of obscure ones now a little bit because of Shudder. But yeah, Joe Bob, that show is really cool because it's one of those where you can like watch the movie and then just hear Joe Bob like make jokes. It's very funny, and then talk about like the behind the scenes stuff, which is really neat. The only like kind of thing is you just got to be in the mood for taking those breaks, kind of like a FX, behind
Yeah,
the scenes thing in between the featurette, in between the movie. So you just got to be able to like, well, the length of the movie plus whatever in between is. Sometimes I don't want to take that big, long, thing, but you do want to do that. It's really cool. So
yeah. Kerri?
Yeah, I love Joe Bob. I really want to make more time to, watch some more movies that way. And I do think, it's always for good horror movies. It's always interesting because he brings up so much of the backgrounds. Like you said, Hunter, sometimes he'll bring a guest on who is either an actor or somehow otherwise involved in the movie, and that's really fun. I feel like it's even like it makes his show also makes kind of the bad horror movies more watchable because he'll like explain the reasons behind things that happened and like he's making jokes with you. And for bad horror movies, it kind of helps to have it broken up a little bit.
It
break for a second.
So like I'm different than a lot of people because I love watching B horror movies like Chopping Mall, Sleepaway Camp, like the entire series. I love the entire series. There's like 5 of them, but so I actually like watching the movie and then like kind of seeing behind the scenes stuff, like hearing stories about how they got made, or like on the Sleepaway Camp episode, like Felissa Rose talked about how they did the iron scene in the movie. I don't know if you guys watched that, but the curling iron scene, pretty much she sticks the curling iron up a girl's
okay.
Yeah.
It's fun.
They actually like so they actually like broke down how they did that with like different molds and things like that, and how they got it to look as horrifying as possible because it's done in like a shadow effect, which is really cool. And they're like, well, this is what we did to do that. So different like behind the scenes stuff are really like kind of intriguing to me to learn how different stuff was made to screen.
Yeah, I think it's actually interesting. I think horror movies with the featurettes like that are some of the most interesting things to watch, especially if you like, hear about like how they made like the Evil Dead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, they had zero money, but we're going to make a horror movie because these are the movies that you can make on like a shoestring budget, like no money.
No money at all.
Basically just have to invent ways to get the actual result that you want on the screen. And it's just so cool to hear exactly about how they just accomplished this one little simple thing. But you're like, how did they do that? Oh, we just tilted the camera.
One way.
Like the Evil Dead 2, like blood spurting out of the wall. It's like, no, we had tilted it and it dropped on his face.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So Kerri, on to you for our next award.
All right. Best makeup effects. And that was presented by the Boulet brothers from the famous Dragula.
Mm-hmm.
And the nominees were Tara Brawley for Hurt, Mark Coulier for Blood Red Sky, Francois Dagonet, I don't know French, from Spiral, the Book of Saw, Oriane Deneuve and CLSFX Atelier 69 for Candisha, and Christopher Nelson for Halloween Kills. And our winner was the most popular, I think, and most seen of these movies, which was Halloween Kills.
Yes. Which, by the way, for a film that got pretty much all praise for the blood and gore in the movie, like makeup effect, perfect for this film.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the makeup effects in Halloween Kills and is that and Spiral were pretty good. I haven't seen the other ones, but I'm actually surprised that I was thinking about this, and this will come up later because this movie was nominated, but I'm surprised Malignant didn't actually get a makeup effect. Thing, because I'm like, that one had like insane makeup effects
or creature effects.
Yeah,
true.
creature effects I could see. Makeup effects I could also see, but I know Juan used a lot of digital making making the creature. But like it was a mix. It was half makeup, half CG. So I don't know if that would have made a difference.
Whatever it was so well done.
It was really great.
Very deserving for Halloween Kills, though, for sure.
Yeah. So I've never the only two I've seen are Spiral from the Book of Saw and Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
But I keep hearing great things about Hurt, and I know this that movie popped up a lot when it comes to like this award show in particular. So that's a movie I definitely have to check out and see like what all the hype is about.
Same. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Chad, on to you for
Yep, I'm gonna present best screenplay, and I love the fact that I get to do this one because I love me a good screenplay, like a good like Aaron Sorkin or something. But he doesn't write horror movies, really. But this award was presented by Harvey Guillen and Josh Rubin. Okay, and the nominees were Prano Bailey Bond for Censor, John Husu, Kai Ling, Chien Shi King.
Those are three different names.
That's what I'm trying to pronounce. All three different names.
Sorry.
For Detention, Ben Collins and Luke Piotrowski for The Night House, Rose Glass for Saint Maud, Madeline Sims Fewer, and Dusty Mancinelli for Violation. And the winner was Ben Collins and Luke Piotrowski for The Night House. This is the one that, this and Saint Maud were the only ones that I've seen of this slate. But I was so rooting for The Night House. I wish The Night House had gotten more attention, like at the actual freaking Oscars, because I think that was a super well done movie, both with Rebecca Hall in it, and then also just the screenplay and the visual effects were all so great in that movie. It was just a really good movie that was just really creepy as well. So super well done.
Kerri?
Yeah. I love The Night House. And, of the two I've seen, I think this is the one that definitely would deserve best screenplay. Both really great movies, but The Night House, I don't know. I really love that movie. I thought it was just a great metaphor. I thought the story was really fantastic.
Hey, thank you, Jacob. I've heard nothing but good things about The Night House. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Check it out.
It's on HBO Max. If you have that, definitely one to watch.
For sure.
Yeah. Yes, I absolutely love The Night House. I watched it recently, like a month or two ago. It's a movie that actually sticks with you, which I actually like. It's a slower burn, but as you guys know, I love movies that take its time.
Same.
With the like depending on the source material, I love when a film knows what it's about and it can take its time getting to the end result. And this movie does it perfectly.
Absolutely. And I'm glad we're not really getting into it because I want people to experience it for themselves. We actually had the privilege of seeing it in the theater, which was really cool too. And not a lot of people did, which was sad.
That would have been fun. I'm not going to lie. Seeing that movie in the theaters.
Yeah.
All right. So it's on to me for best costume design. Oh, Jesus. A long last name. Here we come. And that's presented by Misha Osarovic.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Also from Freaky, and Rachel True from The Craft. So it's good to see them to do this award show. So best costume design. The nominees are Lizzie Cook for Candyman, Audley Dick Maru for Last Night in Soho, Ewan Colette Kai for Bingo
Huffy.
Hell. I'm sorry.
I was trying to help out. Never mind.
Kofke? There we go. Kofke for Bingo Hell. Chico.
Matsumoto.
There we go. These names, man. I suck with names. Prisoner of the Ghostland, and Neil McLean for Slumber Party Massacre, which I did not realize they made a remake of that.
Ooh.
Which I have to watch that. But the winner is Audley Dix Maru for Last Night in Soho.
Very, very well deserved.
Well deserved. The costumes in that movie are like a separate character.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah, I mean, Last Night in Soho, it's a movie about fashion. The main character is going to the London School of Fashion. And, so, and then you have all the fashion when it goes back to the past. You have all that fashion. And then, the fashion of the characters in the present day. And also when Ellie goes to try on fashions from the past and then try to recreate fashions from the past. It's just... movie's all about freaking fashion. So,
oh yeah, Kerri, thoughts on this?
Definitely well deserved. I mean, I think I can't really add much to what you guys said. The costuming in this movie was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So I was rooting for either Last Night in Soho or Candyman. I think the costume designing. Am I good?
Yeah.
There we go. But so the costume design in Candyman is really cool because like Last Night in Soho, it's a character in the film as well. Mm-hmm. Like the iconic coat of Candyman and like the street look of like Pernita Green at the beginning, and then like how it kind of changes from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, and you see like kind of like the one shirt being torn, like in Ready or Not, how like it's one completely, like costume, but then it gets like ripped and torn and like messed up as the movie goes along. So it feels like it's a lived-in costume as they continue into the streets of Chicago and things like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the detail in Candyman is so great. I really need to rewatch that movie, and especially like I'm also now that you mention it and I think about it, Candyman would have been an interesting pick for makeup too because of like the way his face started to deteriorate like that. So gross.
Tony Todd being used as like a de-aging at the end of the movie.
Oh right,
yes.
yeah.
Perfect. Like I couldn't even tell the difference. It looked like a young Candyman, which was really cool.
For sure.
All right, so we go back to Kerri for the next award.
All right, next award is Best International Movie, and that was presented by Alejandro Brugues. Sorry, sure I mispronounced that. The nominees were Detention, The Feast, Lamb, The Queen of Black Magic, and Titan. And the winner was Titan. How do you guys feel about that one?
Never seen it. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I mean, Titan was really interesting, like body horror kind of film. I don't remember too much about it. I remember it's like this prestige one that got like, I think it won like the Palme d'Or at Cannes. So it's like really, prestige kind of film. Yeah, it's a horror film too, and it's a great. Yeah, that probably would have been my pick just because the only other one that I had seen was Lamb. And while I thought Lamb was good, there's also parts I did not like about that movie, and I just thought it was very strange. Titan was also very strange, but I just thought like the performances and everything in that movie, the way it was written and the way it unfolds was just really good, especially like also like cinematography. So.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot, actually. Lamb and Titan were the ones we had seen, and I did prefer Titan over Lamb. Lamb it was good. It was very folk horror, Titan was definitely more modern. It was by Julia Ducournau, who did Raw. This was really in the same vein where she's dealing with modern issues and she's dealing with metaphors for modern issues. And I thought it was actually really well done.
Yeah, so I haven't seen any of these movies, so again, give me more to add to my my play. A few of these are actually going to be hard for me to find because I know a lot of them aren't on streaming services, so I got to go and kind of search them up or buy them or kind of.
I think Titan is available now somewhere. So
okay, sweet. So that's one I can definitely look into. All right, so let's move on to Chad for the next award.
I'm so glad I get to do this one. This is the one I was cheering about with the winner, and I don't know what I just did. But yeah, this one is actually a best series, and it was you passed it, and it was presented by Brian Fuller and Tananarive Due.
Tananarive.
Okay, Tananarive Due. Do. I'm trying too hard here, and it's way simpler. Okay, so the nominees were Brand New Cherry Flavor, Chucky, it's fucking Chucky. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Midnight Mass, and the winner, Midnight Mass. I was really, really, really happy about this one. I haven't seen any of the other ones. I kind of want to check out at least the Chucky one because I think that one would be pretty fun. But Midnight Mass, I think, is just one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. I think that just has so many great themes. There's some things I don't like in it, actually, about like animal stuff. But if you can get past that, this is a very creepy show, but also a great like meditation on like our place in the world, religion, just like a lot of stuff like that. It's kind of like, it might be like, if you maybe Dr. Sleep or Midnight Mass is like kind of like Mike Flanagan's like Magnus Opus at the moment. It's like it feels like the thing that was like everything he's been doing has been coming to. And I think the reason that I'm very high on it too is because Kerri and I actually got a special kind of like watch along thing that we did for the first, like, I think 2 episodes. It's like one of those like streaming things where you can actually watch it. And then afterwards, it's like doing like a Sundance where afterward you get a FAQ or whatever with the Ask Me Anything with Mike Flanagan and the other creator of Midnight Mass. And it was really cool. I didn't get to ask him a question, which, I would have, but it was really cool to see it. When we were in the waiting room waiting for the episode to start, there was a lot of like religious music. The score is just so good in this. And also, it was a return of, please help me out with his name.
Michael Saracen.
Matt Saracen from Friday Night Lights. I feel bad that I can't remember his name, the actor's name, but he's
Zach Gilford.
Zach Gilford, who I love because Friday Night Lights is one of my favorite shows, and hearing Mike Flanagan say that he chose Zach Gilford because he loves Friday Night Lights.
Of course he did.
Made my world. And then also the show being so damn good. If you haven't seen Midnight Mass, please check this thing out.
I have to watch it.
I love it so much. It's not that long and it's brilliant. It will make you feel things. Kerri cried for like a good 15 minutes afterwards.
Oh my God, 15 minutes per episode, I think.
Wow.
But especially at the end, it was so good.
I know, at the middle there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Dude,
bring your tissue.
Flanagan show I cried at was Haunting of Hill House.
Ooh, okay. You cried at Hill House? I guess so. That was pretty emotional as well.
The end of the first episode? Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot of like death and stuff like that and that, but like I remember Blind Manor was like even more.
That's we watched Blind Manor and I think I cried for at least 15 minutes after it. I cried through the entire last episode, and then to cheer me up, Chad's like, "Why don't we put on Hubie Halloween, Adam Sandler movie?"
Yes.
So, and then we fell in love with Hubie Halloween,
and then you cried for a whole nother reason.
No.
Exactly. We cried laughing.
Cried laughing, exactly.
Oh my god.
Don't besmirch Hubie Halloween. That movie's brilliant, actually. You know, a lot of people give it hate, but that movie, if you open your mind and go into it like I'm going to watch a silly movie, that's exactly what it is. It's so fun.
Oh my
Anyways, we can move on, but I love Midnight Mass.
All right, so it's on to me for best limited release movie, which was done by Tracy Thorns, and the nominees are Come True, Heart, In the Earth, PG Psycho Gorman, and Werewolves Within. And your winner, PG Psycho Gorman, won for best limited release movie. Guys, thoughts about this? I've never seen it, as you guys know. I know you guys haven't seen it, but
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these ones. I've heard a lot of great things about PG Psycho Gorman and Werewolves Within, and I want to watch both of those and the other ones. Hurt also came up, and we talked about wanting to watch that.
yeah.
No, I don't know. I haven't seen any of these. I want to check them out.
Kerri?
Same here. Yeah. You know, I've heard good things about PG and Werewolves Within, and definitely want to check all of them out.
Before we move on, did we want to mention at all the In Memoriam?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry about that. I skipped that.
No worries.
So that was done by Bria Grant, who directed 12-Hour Shift, which if you guys have not seen that movie, it's on Hulu. It is a satire horror film. It done in a 12-hour stay, almost like 24, where it's like the time and stuff. It's 12 hours in a hospital on a 12-hour shift with a nurse who is, I'm not going to spoil anything, but she is trying to sell organs.
Whoa. Okay, that sounds cool.
Okay,
It's
I like stuff like
insane. It's like a horror comedy too. It's so funny.
Nice. I like stuff like that. Yeah,
tons of people I didn't realize had passed away. Like, just like the director of the Bye Bye Man. That was recently that movie came out. I didn't realize the director passed away recently.
Yeah, it was cool to see nods to like people like Stephen Sondheim and Richard Donner. Stuff like that was really, really cool to see that. You know, very sad. You know, and I also in the In Memoriam, I didn't realize that Fangoria considers E.T. a horror film, and I was like, I'm okay with that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because E.T. scarred us all as kids.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's always good to respect, you know, filmmakers who gave us, you know, all their time and energy, sweat and tears into films. Even if we didn't like the film, the idea that they put this out for the public to see, to give us entertainment and escapism. It's good to see us, when they pass away, like, honor them, at least for a moment.
Yeah, and it's cool how they kind of like spread the love a little bit, and it's not just like main people. It's like people kind of behind the scenes a lot of the times that they shed light on as well.
I think that's a great thing about the genre community in general is, you know, just I don't know, like the community and like not willingness, but like effort to recognize everyone who's involved in the process, because it's not just the director and the actors, you know, people like the special effects people and the makeup costume designers, they're all such an integral part of the movie that's being created.
Yeah, and I will say, and actually, as I was watching this, I thought about this. I was like, I love the horror community so much because now I'm not going to say, you know, it never happens, but the array of acceptance of everybody when it comes to trans, you know, gay, you know, straight, it doesn't matter. We're all like collective of like just horror fans, and that they actually showed it here, having, you know, trans people, having, you know, people of color, having, you know, all different types of people being presenters. It's not just the same people, like big names over and over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope that diversity only continues to increase both in the genre community and, you know, in the movie industry as a whole.
Exactly. All right, so I believe we're on to Kerri for the next award.
Yes. So this is Best Lead Performance. and an exciting award. And it was presented by Jeff Daniels Phillips and Daniel Roebuck. And the nominees are, this is a lengthy list, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II for Candyman, Niham Elgar, for Censor, Morfydd Clark for Saint Maud, Barbara Crampton for Jacob's Wife, Rebecca Hall for The Night House, Thomasin McKenzie for Last Night in Soho, Agatha Roussel for Titan, Madeline Sims-Fewer for Violation, Julia Sarah Stone for Come True, and Anya Taylor-Joy for Last Night in Soho.
Good on you for getting Agatha Roussel's name correct.
I did not, but I think it is.
Agatha Roussel.
And the winner was Yahya Abdul-Mateen II for Candyman.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one was like a stacked category, like so many great performances. 2 from Last Night in Soho that were just so epic. I was rooting for either the 2 from Last Night in Soho, Agatha from Titan, Morfydd, like basically all the ones that I've seen, like Saint Maud and then Candyman. I'm really glad and Rebecca Hall for The Night House. She was the one I wanted number 1, actually. But I love that Yahya won because I think he like crushed in that movie.
He was so good, especially coming off of, well, kind of spoilers for Candyman, but playing an older version of the young kid from the original Candyman and having to bring that idea of like playing a character from a movie in the 90s, you know what I mean? Or like late 80s, early 90s, making him older. He did a fantastic job, especially with his chemistry with everybody on set. Like no matter what scene he was in, he seemed to have great chemistry with all of his co-stars, which is very rare to see.
Yeah, Rebecca Hall also would have been my personal preference. I think she in every single, like her past 2 roles have always just like astounded me.
Iron Man 3?
Not Iron Man 3.
What? Great movie.
Oh my God, she was in Iron Man 3. That's right.
I think this was really an Oscar-worthy performance that she did, but Yahya Abdul-Mateen would have been my second choice. So I think this is still very, very well deserved. I think all of these actors that at least in the movies I saw did an amazing job.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Yahya jump in there as well, because like to see him on something like this, because that dude's been nominated for like Oscars,
Yeah.
so that's really cool.
Yeah. So I will say a name that actually surprised me when it came up was Barbara Crampton. I did not know that she was in Jacob's Wife.
Haven't seen that one. Is it
Me
good?
neither, but yeah, I've never seen it. But just seeing like Barbara Crampton's name and the fact that she's still acting at a high level is incredible.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, so we move on to Chad for the next category.
Oh, best director, you say?
Yes.
How fitting that I'm the one to read this. Okay, so this one was this one was also presented. This was really cool. This was presented by Joe Dante and D. Wallace.
Yes.
And what were they in together again? The Critters.
No,
right?
The Howling.
The Howling. That's right. Didn't they both do Critters or no? Okay, never mind. Anyways, best director, the nominees were Prano Bailey Bond for Censor, David Bruckner for The Night House, Anthony Scott Burns, Come True, Julia Ducournau for Titan, Rose Glass for Saint Maud, and Edgar Wright for Last Night in Soho. And the winner was Edgar Wright, Last Night in Soho.
Yes.
I freaking love Edgar Wright. I really loved Last Night in Soho. Maybe not the tip top of my favorites of Edgar Wright, but it was just a great film with a great kind of like callback to like old like Giallo films, but also just like really great messaging and stuff like that. Really great style. I loved the twist at the end. Kind of was really great. All the acting, the costume, everything that was in there was so good. Just the filmmaking techniques. He really directed the shit out of that movie. So, but when does he not? And that's why this dude should kind of always, I think, win Best Director when he comes up, because this dude knows how to direct a dang film. Even his student film that he did was just like so interesting. But yeah, like there's a lot of the other movies were really great as well. I really thought Julia Ducournau might actually pull it in, but I'm really glad that Edgar Wright was able to win for this. And that dude, if you ever hear him guest star on like a podcast or something like that, he can go on for a long time just talking. He's kind of like Quentin Tarantino in that way, just less full of himself. So, but yeah, Edgar Wright is amazing. So much horror and film knowledge in general. So just listen to that guy talk sometime.
Kerri?
Yeah, I think this was a well-deserved win. I really would have been happy with David Bruckner or Julia Ducournau as well. I thought all of them really hit it out of the park with directing these movies.
Rose Glass.
Yeah, and Saint Maud was fantastic as well. I think, and that was a first feature, right? Yeah. So I mean, for a first feature, that was pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only two like of this list I've seen was Last Night in Soho or The Night House. But I feel like either way, it was going to be well deserved. I think The Night House, when it comes to like different shots that they use, especially not spoil anything, but the shot from her dream to the house. Perfect directing on that scene.
Yeah.
But of course, like I am so happy for Edgar Wright to win and be acknowledged for something like Last Night in Soho because it's well deserved.
Yeah, for sure. Like Night House did have some really great like shots that they set up, especially like just that cool imagery that they have, the way they move the camera and stuff. Kind of reminded me a little bit of The Invisible Man, which is like one of my favorite directed films ever with Leigh Whannell. That dude has surprised me, coming from like, not that Saw's not great, because I love the Saws, I love the Insidious movies and stuff like that, but seeing him direct like I think Insidious 3 or whatever he did, or The Last Key, whichever one he did,
Insidious Last Key,
seeing him come from that to like The Invisible Man is great. So I just love to see great direction in films, and just Edgar Wright with his editing is just amazing. so good.
Didn't Lee also do Upgrade, or am I thinking of something
else?
He did, yeah.
He crushed Upgrade. That's such a good one.
I mean, and it's kind of cool.
3 for 3.
Yeah, you can see the transition too from his Insidious movie, the upgrades, and The Invisible Man. It's kind of, he's gotten better every time.
Yeah, Invisible Man is epic in direction for sure.
All right, so it's on to me for Best Kill, and I'm so glad that I get to talk about this. That is very fitting because the presenter was Felissa Rose. So good to see her. And the winner for Best Kill is the bread slicer from Fear Street Part 1, 1994. I totally agree. This death scene was amazing. It was very unique. It was different than anything I've seen. Literally crushing someone's head through a bread slicer and then have it come out with like the different bread pieces and stuff. So unique, man. I love this kill, guys.
Okay, I'll start. I'll have to say, the one that won, the bread slicer, I actually don't super recall this one. I'm excited to rewatch the Fear Street series and pay more attention to this kill. This was a fun one to vote for because there were no nominees. Fangoria literally just put a box and asked you to describe what your favorite kill was.
Yeah.
I personally chose was in Candyman, the kill of the art critic. That's yeah, that one to me was my favorite kill of the year personally.
Yeah, I when Hunter was describing this, I did remember this. Isn't it like it's in like the supermarket or whatever?
Supermarket, yeah, and she goes straight through.
Yeah, so there's a lot of great kills in the Fear Streets, especially the first one. Just really fun when you get a really great kill. I'm sure the one that Kerri was talking about is amazing. I think Candyman had a lot of really cool moments like that. I don't, unless we're talking John Wick or something like that, I'm not like sitting here like, that was a really cool kill from that horror movie. I don't know. It's really not super my thing, but maybe I'll start paying more attention to the kills and make a list.
There we go. Yeah, I know like a lot of people love the Fear Street movies, I think this is people's least favorite, and I actually think this is one of my favorites, as I said before. But the fact that not only did it get recognized on like this type of award show, but it got multiple, nominations, but like
write-ins.
multiple wins.
And one.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think this is kind of actually an interesting thing. Maybe we can do an episode just on this at some point and talk about like kills and their importance and stuff like that. Because I think there's a lot of horror fans that just like, they really love the kills. Like that's their thing. And I think that's the people who really, really, really liked Halloween Kills. It's because it had kills, the name Kills. It had a lot of kills in it.
Yeah.
And, they were really great and stuff like that. And for me, I'm more of like a story person. So I think that's kind of like a good distinction to have. Like, what kind of horror fan are you? Are you really focused on a lot of these really cool moments, or, do you like more of like the story or the character building, stuff like that? So world building. So, but that's
but
really they highlight the kills, I think. Though.
Yeah, I will say the best horror movies have a picture of both. Unique and great kills and great story. Like I think of like A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. Very unique kills, but a very good world building, story driven, actual movie, and then great kills inside of it.
And how they do that, and how they I was just gonna say, and how they do the inventive like kills in those where they like tilt the set to make it look like she's crawling up the wall.
Crawling on the walls. Yeah, yeah.
And then like in Halloween, just like some of the kills that are just so subtle. Because I know Halloween Kills, it was like, he's fast, he's running around. It's like, he's kind of an old man, though. I don't understand this. But, in the original Halloween, like when, he pins the guy up with the knife and he's just kind of like tilting his head, just kind of like looking at him, like confused or admiring. You don't even know. And I think that's the brilliance of some kills too. So I do appreciate them. It's just, maybe different ones. I don't know.
See, like me, I'm in the middle when it comes to like, I love movies like, the Shudder B horror movies that have like really fun kills, like a Hellraiser or Hellraiser 2, where they're just like, they care more about the inventive kills and the settings. But I also love movies like Hereditary, Midsommar, The Witch, where it's very story driven. I think my brain can turn off and be like, oh, I like this movie because I like seeing the gore and I like seeing the blood and the unique kills. Kind of the reason why I like Halloween Kills so much. I think the kill with the boyfriend on the staircase where he just knocks his head back and forth and then snaps his neck with a boot. I'm like, that's fucking brutal, and I love it. I'm all for it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with, liking either, liking both. When I go to comedies, a lot of the times I love like a really great comedy with a great story. And then sometimes I just like the really, really silly ones that aren't afraid to be silly as hell.
Like
Hubie Halloween.
Like Halloween, exactly. I think that also has kind of a really good story as well. But, some of the really ones like Hot Rod that are just basically silly. And I'm just like, hell yeah. So I get it, just in a different way.
Definitely. All right. So I believe we're on the last one. We are on to Kerri for the next.
Yeah. So this is Best Wide Release Movie, presented by Radio Silence, the guys that brought us Ready or Not and Scream 2022, and are going to bring us Scream 6.
Hell yes.
It's great to see them.
Selections from VHS.
Yes, and selections from VHS. Okay, so the nominees were Malignant, Candyman, Last Night in Soho, The Night House, and A Quiet Place Part 2.
I've actually seen all of these movies, so I'm happy for them.
And the winner was Malignant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good to see Malignant get this W. And James Wan's face when he got his reward, man.
He was very adorable.
He was so excited.
Yeah.
So good.
I would have been fine with any of these winning because they were all so damn good for different reasons. But seeing Malignant in particular one was great for me because I remember when this film came out and the conversation around it, it was the most in my memory divisive film of that time. I don't want to say of the year, but of that time at least.
Yeah.
We still had like Don't Look Up and stuff like that. But Malignant, though, a lot of people were like hating on this movie. Like, what is this? I expected more from James Wan. And we watched it, and like when you understand what's going on, you can either get with it or you go, I don't like this. And I think, at least for me, I really got with it, and I was like,
yeah,
this is kind of amazing. Like, this is kind of like that like B horror thing, but on purpose. And like, well, I mean, those are also like on purpose, but like this one is kind of like, I don't know, like kind of like a homage to it. Exactly. Like a satire, or I don't know what
it was also heavily inspired by Giallo, the Italian horror films, and you could clearly see the love for Giallo films from James Wan in this film. As someone who is not really akin to Giallo films, but I love B horror movies, and I love the fact that this is a B level horror movie with great acting and great effects. Amazing. The story is stupid. I'm gonna say it right now. The story is stupid. It is very unique, and it's very, very fun. And I love that it got recognized for what it is. I know people, especially nowadays with the way horror's going, as Scream said, elevated horror, they wanted something more from James Wan. But I got exactly what I wanted from James Wan. He gave us great Conjuring movies and everything. This is James Wan's vision of a B-level Giallo film, and it works perfectly.
And I love that, I love that the conversation about it was like, James Wan gave us Aquaman. He did one for them. So this is the one for him.
Exactly.
This is the one he wanted to make. So when we get to now see when James Wan goes full James Wan, Kerri?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have been so happy with any one of these. I think these were definitely like my top. How many are there? Five wide release horror films of
these
the
were
year.
Amazing.
It is really cool though to see, because this movie was so divisive, see James Wan actually win this and see people appreciate Malignant for what it was, and see the horror fans appreciate it for what it was. I think a lot of people went into this movie expecting The Conjuring.
Yeah.
And, I hope he brought, I think he inspired us to at least buy some Giallo films. We haven't actually gotten to watch them yet. I think the only one we've seen is Suspiria. But I don't know. I think this was a great movie. I think it's well deserved.
Yeah, I will say it is kind of surprising that it won because of how divisive it was.
Yeah,
it was. But this just goes to show you, and I don't want to make this an us versus them thing, but mainstream audiences. There we go. Mainstream audiences' opinion and horror audiences' opinions.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see with Fangoria, this is people who read Fangoria and people who love the magazines and the websites. They're, they live for horror. They love the horror genre more than anything. So to see a film like Malignant win can also show that like the divisiveness of this movie may have come from mainstream audiences not knowing what to expect, but horror fans loving it because we knew exactly what movie and what film James Wan would produce in this type of genre.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I think it was still also a little bit of a surprise because we didn't know yet what a full James Wan experience was.
Well, and I think it was kind of, I think the advertising and marketing was a little.
The marketing screwed this film.
I think it didn't set you up for it. And I think for a lot of people, it was a pleasant surprise for what it was. And then for others, apparently it was an unpleasant surprise.
Yeah, so very divisive, but I think it's one that people, if they want to, if they choose to, give it another chance and revisit it, knowing what they're going to get, then they'll probably see it in a new light and go, oh, this is actually kind of brilliant.
Mm-hmm. It's a movie that pokes fun at itself and pokes fun at not only the horror genre but Giallo films, monster movies. At the end of the movie, it creates a really good creature effect, but also it creates a very good twist where it comes to like, it wasn't just a twist that came out of nowhere. They set up, they set up the twist, and now going back on a second view, knowing the end of the movie, it makes it so much better to go back and be like, oh, I see what all of these steps mean to lead to this ending right here.
Yeah, and it's also it turns into kind of like a really great action film for a little bit, which is really cool.
That jail scene, perfect, brilliant. Yeah. All right, I think that's all of them. Very good award show, guys. Thoughts on the overall presentation before we head out?
I mean, yeah, I had a really great time watching it. I think just because I really like David Dastmalchian. The silly stuff was a little bit like sometimes I was like, all right, this is getting really silly. But like I think, if you're in that mindset to be very silly, yeah, it showed like a new side to David Dastmalchian I hadn't really seen because he's so serious all the time in his movie, except for Polka Dot Man. But yeah, it showed like a very silly side to David, and it was really cool to see. It was really cool also, I thought, just to see a lot of the faces. I've heard names, like I've heard like Radio Silence a lot, but I don't think I've ever actually seen them or pictures of them, and just to see them come in and just see them. Harry Manfredini as well. I don't remember ever actually seeing him, but like seeing him come in and just these people, they're just so humble and just like, this is great, and just a really cool like community, and it's just really, really nice to see a lot of different like walks of life and stuff like that too, and people expressing themselves. So it was really neat to see, and I want to watch this every year. It's really fun.
Yeah, I will too. Kerri?
And vote too this year.
Okay,
gotta
remind everyone to vote. Yeah, the production value on this was really incredible. I really hope we get to have this in the years to come because it was so much fun. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of other things that haven't been touched on. The audience was really fun. Everyone was really dressed up.
Different costumes?
Yeah, and costumes and full makeup. That was really cool.
Yeah. It was very silly when it panned over them. They're like, yeah. It's like the price.
I love the skit with the popcorn attendant who works for Fangoria. He's like giving like popcorn or like blood and like hands for one person and like leg for another one.
Very silly.
So fun.
It was so fun, man, and that's kind of why I wish we get this. I hope we get this every year on Shudder, because one, horror doesn't get appreciated enough in other media.
Yeah.
And to have this really appreciates horror. But two, it's a really good escape for like an hour and a half to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go watch the Best Picture nominees for this horror award. Watch all those movies, and then you can like have fun with the nominees and the voting. Like, I don't watch the Oscars anymore just because I don't care anymore. I used to watch it every year. I used to watch the Best Picture nominees, but right now I just don't care about it. But I love horror films, so if I get to watch, great horror films and then watch a show dedicated for horror films, that's the dream for me right there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both, but yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. All right, I think with that we are going to end things. Chad and Kerri, where can people find you online?
Oh my gosh. Here, this is what I usually say. I have a match, I think, premiering tonight. Or maybe it already premiered on
Nerd already out.
Okay, yeah, premiered today on Nerd Entertainment Network. Against my husband, against Jeff.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
It was fun. So tune into that. There were great questions, and I think we took it all the. Well, I won't spoil it, but yeah, watch it.
We did very well, both of us. So yeah, that was great. That was really fun. I also on the Dill Pickle Movie Network, I do a show called Picture This. Every month we go through a year of Best Picture nominees, the winners of the Oscars, and we watch all of them. We rank them, talk about them, talk about actors and actresses from that year, the slate of films, the ceremony itself, the year itself. This month we're doing 2012, a bit of a retrospective. It's like 10 years later kind of a thing. Last month we did 1998, which was very, very fun. A lot of great films there. And then this year also, I'm really enjoying watching these films. I'm here. I have my own like little channel where I do like some rankings. Recently, I did MCU Phase 1, so we're gonna try to do like all those. Really fun. Yeah, we did Christmas. We did Edgar Wright. We did Harry Potter. So I'm looking to keep going up with that. Also, my buddy Dylan did a draft day show that he did, and we did a Disney ranking. So we ranked like not ranking, but a draft. So we drafted like characters and songs and stuff like that from Disney animated films, which is really fun. And soon we're going to do a Star Wars characters one, which is pretty cool. I got to start prepping for that. I also do movie battlegrounds. So that's a debate thing. And recently I debated Alan Shepard, and I'm going to be debating soon Sean Hunter. So I look forward to that because, there's a lot of really good competitors, and it's really fun talking movies with them and kind of arguing my points. And I do a lot of trivia. So that's about it. I don't want to keep rambling on.
All right, guys. So if you did enjoy this episode, please hit that like button, subscribe to the Nerd Entertainment Network down below. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys soon. Gotta hold it. There we go.